Hey guys, good morning, and what an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful morning it is here in the UK. It's about, I don't know, about 8:30, 8:45 I think, yeah, 8:45, on the 30th of August 2016. I thought I would make another video today because I have my upcoming appointment at the hospital in Derby, which is basically my annual appointment, my MS appointment for the year. Always comes up round about birthday time, which is September, sort of August, September. I thought it'd be later than this actually. Normally they write to me with the appointment and then it's like 6 weeks later, but not this time. I got the letter, well, today's Tuesday, I got the letter on last Friday, and the appointment's this Friday. So, in fact, here's the letter. Friday the 2nd, 10:20. So that's me. Not sure if I'm not really looking forward to it, but there's a couple of things I want to talk about to them. The first being a really strange kind of, I briefly touched upon it on my last video. You've got pretty much the three flavours of MS that people talk about is relapsing remitting MS, which most people get diagnosed with to start with. And to briefly touch upon that, someone with relapsing remitting MS will have a relapse, which is like the onset of new symptoms. So for example, when I had a major relapse in 2012, my legs and feet went really numb. I actually lost considerable mobility due to the weakness the MS has caused. Then what happens is it tends to get better. That's the remitting side of it. You sort of go into remission, but the symptoms quite often don't go completely. If they do go completely, that's a bonus, but that doesn't usually happen. And sorry, someone just walked past my window and distracted me. It's postman. So yeah, that's the remitting side of things. The symptoms die down, calm down. So another example of that is someone with relapsing remitting could get optic neuritis. Fortunately, touch wood, I've never had the optic neuritis because that sounds pretty scary. So they can have the optic neuritis, which is the blurring of vision, that kind of thing. They would then probably have steroids to sort of calm that down, and then that particular relapse would go into remission, and all the symptoms would calm down and hopefully go. But quite often, the person's left with residual symptoms in the vision. The next sort of form of, usually people with relapsing remitting MS, after about 15 years, 65% of people tend to move on to the second stage of that particular MS, called secondary progressive MS. And that's like kind of a second stage to relapsing remitting MS, whereby I don't know too much about it. You just have to Google that a bit. But my understanding is that symptoms, you tend not to relapse so much, and symptoms tend to progress a little bit more. I'm not going to go too much into that because I haven't quite got my facts straight about the secondary progressive. But what I am sure about is relapsing remitting tends to go into that stage pretty much after about 15 years. The other stage of MS is primary progressive MS, and 10% of people, this is a rare form of MS, 10% of people tend to get that particular form of MS, and usually it's diagnosed with people in their 40s or older. whereas the other, relapsing remitting, is usually younger people. And the weird thing is, primary progressive MS, people don't tend to relapse, and they just get an onset of symptoms caused by the MS, and they progressively over time get worse. They might get some disability walking, and then what might happen, so they'll get quite a bit of disability and then they'll plateau. They will maintain that disability for quite a period of time, maybe months or years, and then it tends not to get better. It might sort of calm down a little bit, but it tends not to get better, and then they will get something else, another light. So it will actually progress and get worse, or you might get another kind of attack of the MS, which will cause you further disability, and that won't get better. It won't remit. It won't go into remission. It won't get better in primary progressive. It just carries on getting worse, and your disability and your neurological function just tends to get worse and over time. That's my understanding of it anyway. I've sort of briefly read up on it. Now, what I want to try and touch upon with the hospital is I'm confused because I don't relapse, and I'm finding this very kind of worrying. I said this to the hospital 2-3 years ago, a couple of years ago. In fact, I said it in my last visit. I said, I don't get any relapses. I get flare-ups of symptoms, existing symptoms, so all my symptoms are like feet, legs, sort of fingertips, my back is really mega weak, I've got this damn chest pain. Nothing ever gets better. It's like I'm in the plateau section. But I'm not convinced my flavour of MS is relapsing remitting MS. Everybody's diagnosed to start with that, but I'm just not convinced. And all I want is the correct diagnosis. I'm not saying I've got secondary progressive, I'm not saying I've got primary progressive. I don't want any of those. Of course I don't. But I want a correct diagnosis. And I do not relapse. Okay, so all my symptoms started 2007, 2012. And they did get better, so they did sort of go into remission, but didn't completely get better. So that was to start with. Then in 2012, all my symptoms came back and got worse, and left me with mega disability. I seriously can't walk. So I'm just wondering, what is my sort of form of MS, because I don't relapse. A relapse is like the onset of new symptoms, like I might get the side of my face might go into spasm and go numb for a week, and then it might get better. It will remit, it will go into remission. Or I might get a dead arm or something like that for a few days, and then that'll go into remission, it'll get better. But nothing ever happens like that. All I ever got is, I'm not asking for things like that, thank goodness, but it's like all I ever have is my existing symptoms, and they never get better. And if anything, they flare up like crazy, and they get slightly worse, and I don't know if they get slightly worse. If they do, it's very, very subtle, and I can't tell, but certainly at the moment my walking is absolutely crap. Sorry to be so blunt. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be asking in the hospital. And also tomorrow, I've talked about this chest pain in my previous video, which, because I'm doing like a lot of relaxing and everything at the moment, it's not too bad. But even at the moment, I can feel it. It's like a 3 out of 10. So I'm going to be really emphasising that. Those two things, I'm going to be really emphasising my chest pain problem and my this thing where I don't flare up, and I'm just going to query it and put a big question mark on it, and I'm going to see what they say, and I will report back in my next video. One other thing, just before I go, my wife and I decided, because it was such an absolutely gorgeous day yesterday, we decided we'd go for a bit of a walk, which isn't my strong point really, but I just get so fed up of being inside, and it's just nice to be out in the fresh air. We didn't go far, and I actually can't walk hardly at all on my own without, or unless I've got like a cane, a stick, or my wife basically. And so we went for a bit of a walk, and when we got back I asked her, I says, you've known me for, well, she's known me for 25, 26 years, we haven't been married that long, but I asked her, and I know she'd be completely honest with me, I said, you know, years and years ago you used to walk with me. I mean, I used to walk miles, 2-3 miles a day, you know. So when I used to go to work, I used to walk round like a park, lakes. I used to do the whole perimeter of the lake and the other one, sometimes 3 to 3.5 miles, and I used to do it in 45 minutes. So I used to walk pretty damn quick. So to go from doing that for a long time to not being able to walk hardly at all, or extremely slowly and precariously, it's a big knock to my system, but I try and adapt to it and get used to it. You don't really have a choice. So anyway, sorry, I've digressed. What was I saying? Sorry about this. Tend to forget a bit. Okay. So yes, anyway, I was asking my wife, what would you score me out of 10 for a little bit of a preamble? And you could tell she really thought carefully about it, and she knew how I used to walk. Absolutely 10 out of 10. And I feel she was being quite generous as well. She said 2. And it just absolutely, well, didn't blow me away. I kind of thought that's pretty much what she'd say, because it is pretty abysmal, to be honest. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with everybody. I hope everybody has had a fantastic bank holiday weekend here in the UK. To my UK subscribers, I know it's not bank holiday in other areas of the world, but hope everybody has had a good weekend in the other areas as well. Thank you very much for all the likes, all the comments, and to all my new subscribers. I'm well over 100 now, so that's pretty excellent, pretty cool. Thank you very much. When I started this channel, I never expected to get even more than like 20 subscribers. So I know just over 100 isn't loads, and there's other channels out there with like thousands and stuff, but you know, I'm well pleased. I'm really pleased, and I've had a lot of comments from people. I tried to respond within 24 hours, and as I've always said, if you've enjoyed watching my video and you enjoy following me, if you give me a thumbs up, a like, that really helps bump my videos up in the search engine optimization, which is like on Google and YouTube. Google and YouTube are the biggest search engines in the world, and likes and lots of comments help bump them to the top of the list, which then helps people find the video, because you know, hopefully it will get there in the top page, because people tend to only click the videos in the top page, don't they? You know, I do it. So anyway, people, thank you very much. I hope you have a extremely nice Tuesday. It's beautiful and sunny out there. It's getting a bit autumnal now. It's cooling down. Right, I will report back in my next video what the hospital said on Friday. Bye bye for now.